Bonjour ladies and gents, welcome back again. In this video I'm gonna talk about my preview draw about the ATP Masters at Paris. It's this year's third Masters tournament. Due to this COVID-19 virus, the season has been reduced, as you all know. So after Cincinnati and Rome, we have finally reached the ATP Masters in Paris. It's located in a place called Bercy. It's one of the most prestigious indoor tournaments, maybe the most prestigious if you count out the ATP finals, because they have more points, as you all know, 1,500 points. And this tournament, as I told you in my preview last year, is actually my favorite tournament. I've seen many great matches during the years, and I have actually rewatched a couple of matches before the tournament last week, and that was Agassi's victories in 1994 against Marc Rosset, a four-set battle. They used to play 5 sets until 2005, and in the 1999 final against Marat Safin, the year where not Rafael Nadal, when Andre Agassi completed his career Grand Slam collection. So he won both the Paris Indoors and the French Open the same year. And he and Ilie Nastase, the Romanian guy, are the only ones to have done that the same year. Ilie Nastase did that in 1973. But after that, both Novak Djokovic and Roger Federer have managed to win both French Open and Paris Indoor Masters. Those are the only 4 players that has done that. And the other matches I watched was between Boris Becker and Stefan Edberg in the 1989 final, and the final between Boris Becker and Guy Forget, the French lefty with the huge serve and volley skills on the net, and an all-round game that brought him to the top 10 both in doubles and singles in 1992. Those were great matches, and I even watched, I think it was a quarterfinal or semifinal between Marc Rosset and Michael Chang the other day. I think it was in 1994, the year Agassi won. So this tournament really bring back great tennis memories. I watched Sampras beat Boris Becker in the final 1995 also, and plenty of other matches during the years. So like I told you, 4 players that has won the French Open have won this tournament: Nastase, Agassi, Federer, and Novak Djokovic, who has won this tournament record 5 times. He has reached 6 finals totally. He lost to Kachanov in 2018, I think, and he had won 3 consecutive finals here. It's a record also. And back then, in the 90s, 80s, and the early 2000s, the Paris Open, like most of the other courts, that were still fast, because Paris Open was still a fast court until 2011. It's still one of the fastest courts in the world today. And we saw the player played ball attacking and defending gaming style, and it was a pleasure to watch those tennis matches, because it was very unpredictable. It was not all about grinding. It was not all about serve. You had different kind of players that could bring their game, and you mostly it benefits the great service like Sampras, Becker, and guys that could really handle and get 3 points easier than their opponents. And that was great times. I still having great times watching tennis. So I will go into this year's tournament now. The next gen players has really stepped up and played better this time, mostly because of this reduced season. But as always, Nadal have won a Grand Slam this year, Novak have won a Grand Slam this year, and finally Dominic Thiem managed to break the wall and won his first and maiden Grand Slam title at US Open, where he beat Alexander Zverev, another great player that has taken huge steps this year. But the next gen players has been better this year. They have been stronger. They have been developed their game. They have raised their level. They have showed that really they are here to competition. They are here in competition, and they want to win, and defeat these big guys. But still, Novak and Rafael Nadal, they deliver. We saw Rafael Nadal at the French Open, where he was outstanding. He really was the best player from start to the end of the tournament. He showed no mercy, and he's here to chase. He's chasing his first ATP Masters title here in Paris. Has never won this tournament before. He reached the semifinal last year, where he withdrew against Shapovalov. He lost the final in 2007 against an Albanian, who really played superb in that match. I remember that match. Nadal played good as always, but he didn't really have a chance against an Albanian in that match. And because this tournament is the last Master of the year, it's the end of the season, just before the ATP finals. Nadal has withdrawn many times. He hasn't even showed up at Paris before many times. But the times he has played, he has played good, but he was not super fresh or fit. All of the attempts that he has tried to win this tournament, and he of course met better opponents in a couple of occasions. So Nadal have really tried, even when he was here, like he always does, because he's a 100% focused player. He doesn't go into tournaments and just win and aim to win 1 or 2 or 3 matches like Novak Djokovic did at Vienna this week. It was a devastating loss, but I'm not sure if he tanked against Sonego. Sonego really played good, but it was not Novak's usual level that we saw. And in this tournament, many names have withdrawn due to injuries. We all know that Federer is not here. We have many other players like Team withdraw late, Gael Monfils, Grigor Dimitrov, Shapovalov. So that's 6, 7, and Fabio Fognini. 7 names in the top 20 that are not playing here. So Rafael Nadal, who is chasing his first title, has the best chance in many, many years to collect the trophy. But still, they are great competition. Still, he has to play great tennis. Great percentage. He has to do everything that he has done early in his career, and he really knows that now it's one of his best chances to win this tournament. And he hasn't won in Miami either. And there's another I think it's 3 Masters that he hasn't won. It's Paris, it's Miami, and there's another one. I think it's either Indian Wells or Cincinnati, but I forgot. Or was it Shanghai? No, it was Shanghai, I think. I never won Shanghai, I think. And so he is here. He has reached his equal Roger Federer's 20 Grand Slams. So now he's just more relaxed now. I think Rafa is always intense. He never relaxed on court. We know that. But he's a machine. So he will go into the tournament as a favorite due to his consistency level, due to he has played lately, and he has a bunch of great opponents here. He has Zverev, Tsitsipas, Rublev, he has Swatchman, and many others. And since the field is reduced with the absence of great players, it's still a solid field here. So Rafa will have some great tests during his road to the final. I think all of his matches are not easy matches like it was in the French Open. This time he meets quality players in every rounds. Usually, as you all know, the top 8 seed I think gets a bye in this tournament in the first round. So Rafa gets a bye in first round, and I'm gonna go into the draw now and talk a little about the draw and who I will think. I will give you a couple of dark horses that I believe in, name a few of them that I believe in. So if you look at the top section of the draw, the top half of the draw, this where you can find Rafael Nadal, the number 1 seed, of course, and Stefanos Sisyphus is the 2nd seed here after the late withdrawn from Dominic Thiem. And Rafa have Zverev and Rublev in his section before the final. So great opponents, but he will not face all of them because Rublev and Zverev will probably meet each other in the quarterfinal. So let's dig into the draw now, guys and girls and all the people around the world that loves to watch tennis. I'm going to go into the draw now. Rafael Nadal's first match is a bye. In the second round, he will meet either Filip Krajinovic or Feliciano Lopez. A match between them that I think that Krajinovic will win. He did a superb match against Novak Djokovic in Rome in the first round. He blew set points there. He could really push Novak there, but he failed. So Rafael will take on Krajinovic in the second round, I think, and a match that he should win, but now hasn't played indoor hard court for a long time, but he has trained well, so he will be 100% fit for this match and 100% focused. It's a match that he should win in 2 straight sets. Maybe Krajinovic can push him to a tie break or give him a run for his money. You never know. He's a tricky player. He barely does mistakes. So I don't think that Krajinovic is totally out of chances in this match. Exactly like his next opponent in the third round, who is Borna Coric, in my opinion. Borna Coric also a guy that pushed Novak Djokovic and really played great in the first set. I think he had set points there also in that long tie break. And he will face another Serbian in the third round, Coric, a guy that I hyped before, a guy that I had huge expectations on, a guy that has a rock-solid game, but he lacks of great weapons. He has a great backhand. He barely misses from the court. He protects the baseline court very well, but sometimes he makes bad decisions. He has an okay serve, but he doesn't have that really huge firepower that he can rely on to win 3 points. And that is what you need to beat a guy like Rafael Nadal if you want to win a match. You can't just outpunch him and wait for him to make mistakes. So Borna Coric will do exactly like Krajinovic. They are similar in the playing style. They are similar level of players. They are light versions of Novak Djokovic. They are not elastic. They are not fishing up great as Novak Djokovic does. And the important thing, they are not defensively good as Novak Djokovic. They have great tennis minds. They can really play tennis, these guys. They are born with these natural tennis skills, but they can never beat a beast like Nadal, I think. Both of them have chance. Don't get me wrong here. Both of them actually have a chance to beat Nadal because they play that kind of tennis that takes time from Nadal. So Nadal will face some difficulties, but in the long run, Rafa is just too good. He has too much variation. His backhand, his forehand, his serve, his outrageous shot tolerance, everything that you know that Rafa can do, he will provide and do it here in Paris Masters. So Rafael's route to the quarterfinals is hard, difficult, but not impossible. We have seen Rafa done this many times before. And who will reach the quarterfinal against him in that section? We have Goffin or PCB. Those are the guys that I think will meet him in the quarterfinal. They won't take on each other in the third round. And since I haven't seen so much from Goffin lately, I don't know if he has been injured or out of form, but something is not clearly, it's clearly not the same Goffin. And we saw PCB do a great run at both French Open and the semi-final at US Open, so he is in shape. But he lost the tournament before. I think it was in Antwerp, if I'm not mistaken, or was it St. Petersburg? I forgot. But PCB is solid now. He's playing good tennis. He will reach that quarterfinals against Rafael Nadal, in my opinion. And I'm gonna go into the quarters later. But first, I want to take on the two other guys that I think will meet each other in the another quarter. And that's the Andrei Rublev, of course, who takes on in the second round. He also has a bye. I think he will meet the Polish guy Hurkacz, and after that he will play against Daniel Evans or Wawrinka, two great solid players. Has done great lately, mostly Evans. I think he reached the final in a semi-final in Antwerpen, if I'm not mistaken. My mind is mixed up. But anyway, Wawrinka or Evans in the third round. That's great test for Rublev, guys that he should beat without problems. And Rublev, what a year this guy has had so far. 4 titles at Adelaide, in Qatar, and then in St. Petersburg, and then he won Hamburg, and now he's in the final also in Vienna today. He's gonna play on Sonego. Will he collect his 5th title this year? I think it's his record for this year, 5 titles, and 3 of them will, if he wins today, 3 of them will be ATP 500 tournaments. So Rublev, this huge Russian guy with one of the best forehands on tour. When he hits that forehand clean, it's impossible to return the point. He has a great serve. He moves smooth on the court. He has a silky movement on court. He has a great backhand. He has great shot tolerance. He has a great mindset. He never gives up. He have this never give up mentality. So Rublev is probably the guy that has done most improvement on court this year. He has a guy that has progressed most in this year, I think. If you count out Dominic Thiem's Grand Slam victory, I think Rublev is the guy that are here to stay. He has finally taken that step into the top 10. He has reached the ATP. He's chasing the ATP finals because it's 1,000 points here on stake. If Rublev wins the Vienna tournament, he will add another 200 points on the ranking. So the names that are already qualified for the ATP finals in London are, of course, Djokovic, Nadal, Thiem, Zverev, Tsitsipas, and Medvedev. Those 6 names are they have already booked their place at ATP finals in London, and the guys behind them who are chasing the 2 last spots are Rublev in the 7th place and Swatchman on the 8th place, and Berrettini right behind them. So one of these two of these 3 guys are gonna probably take the last spot. I'm not 100% sure about the ATP rankings, the race to London, but I think those are the names that are finished. And there are other YouTubers there that have this under their radar, and they know this better than me. But those are the names that I think will. Those 6 names are qualified, and the other 3 is chasing for the last 2 spots. So Rublev has really gone deep this year in almost every tournament, and 3 ATP 500 tournaments. That's great numbers. And who will he meet in the quarterfinal? I think that will be Alexander Sashasvarev, who gets a bye in the first round. He has a tricky opponent in the second round. That's Jon Millman, who is in the final at Nur Sultan in Kazakhstan. He will face Manarino there in the final. They are actually playing now. I don't know the score, but Millman has done a great job in that tournament. He beat TFO in the semifinal. He was 1 set down and a breakdown in the first set, and now he will face Sasha. I think Sasha will be too strong for him, and after that Sasha will play against Manarino, the other final opponent of him, of Millman, a guy that he should beat. And Sashasvarev has really played great this year. He reached the semi-final at Australian Open. He reached the final of US Open, a final that he could have won. He has won 2 tournaments late after French Open. He won 2 times at Köln, ATP 250 tournament, where he played great. He served great. He really has started to get warm now. Sashasvarev knows that under David Ferrer's coaching, and he's the mentor of him now, he has not done so many bad matches. Usually before he gave up or played terrible, but now he plays almost good in every match, and he has really reduced his double fault. So Zverev is a force to count on now for real, in my opinion. So he will always be a top contender in every tournament he enters. Maybe not Wimbledon, but the other ones. So and he will take on Rublev in the other quarter on the top half of the draw. So Nadal against PCB in the first quarter, and then Rublev against Zverev in the other quarterfinal on the top half of the draw. And now we go to the bottom half of the draw. This draw is very tricky. Of course, we have the great players there. They are top ranked, but none of them have performed through the year. And we have names like Medvedev, we have Sisyphus, we have Swatchman, we have guys like Raonic, Anderson has played great lately. Those are there in the bottom half of the draw. And to begin with, I will go into Swatchman's draw. He will have a bye in the first round. He will face Gasquet in the second. I think he will take on the former champion from 2018, Khachanov, in the third round. And Medvedev have a bye in the first round. He got Hugo Bear. He got Aliassime in the third round, I think. And then in the fourth round, I think he will take on, maybe if he goes there, he will take on Swatchman, but I'm not sure about that. And I'm going to be a little bit bold here, because I think that I'm going to go into my upsets alert now before the other quarterfinals. I have 3 upset alerts in this tournament. One is Borna Coric, who is in the top half of the draw. If he can upset Nadal, I will not be super surprised, but that's a little far-fetched. And my other 2 dark horses in this tournament are Hugo Bear, who recently won at Antwerpen. He early in this year he won in Auckland before Australian Open. So 2 titles to his name. He's a lefty. He's tricky. He's like a Swatchman. He has great hands. He has great serve. He reminds me of John McEnroe in his playing style. He has great touch. He finds those angles, and he never gives up. He chases every point. So this Hugo Bear, I know he's not the top 10 player, maybe not the top 20 either, but for sure he was going to enter the top 20 later on in his career. And I think that he can really upset Tsitsipas in the second round. But I think that Tsitsipas will still win that match, but that's one of my upsets alerts. And then I have Kevin Anderson, who has a great first round. He meets either qualifier or lucky loser. And then he will take on Medvedev, a guy that he beat in Vienna earlier this week. And we all know that he's a 2-time Grand Slam finalist. He's getting a little older now. He has been injured a lot of time recently, but he has really stepped up. He has really showed that he is back in the top level of tennis. Maybe that won't give him an ATP Masters title or Grand Slam, but he's here to cause damage. He's not here to go home early. I think that he can really upset Medvedev again. Or will Medvedev take revenge? If Medvedev takes revenge, he will face Sonego or De Minauri in the third round. And maybe and then after that, I think he can take on he will take on Swatchman in the quarter, because I think Swatchman will reach the quarterfinal. He has played rock solid this year. He has reached the final of Rome and semi-final of French Open, 2 clay court tournaments, of course, you know that. But he's really solid indoors also, Diego Swatchman. But this draw in the bottom half of the draw is very tricky. So I will not be surprised if either Swatchman or Medvedev crashes out early. I think that Swatchman can crash out against both Khachanov and Anderson. Khachanov has not been a great player for like 1.5 years now, maybe 2 years, but still he has some easy opponents. He can reach that third round with ease. So we never know. And then we have Stefanos Sisyphus, the young Greek. I still call him the golden boy of tennis due to his playing style, due to how he has progressed, due to how much potential he still have. He's a player that will surely be much, much better. He gets better for every year. I think he's won 1 tournament this year, and that was at Marseille. And he reached the semifinal of the French Open this year, where he took Novak to 5 set, but he was injured in the in that 5th set. But anyway, great job from him. He will play against Hugo Bear in the 2nd round. If he gets through that, I think he will meet Aliassime. I'm not sure, but if he passes through his first 2 rounds, but Aliassime, I will not be surprised if he plays in the 3rd round against either Tsitsipas or Hugo Bear, but I will go for Tsitsipas. And who will Tsitsipas face in the 4th round? That's a tricky opponent. It's either one of the top seeds, Berrettini or Milos Raonic. I will go with Milos Raonic because he has Bedeni in the 1st round. In the 2nd round, I think he will meet either Tennis Sangren or Herbert, the French dude, who he can play great on his home soil. He played great in French Open. He played rock solid in the first 2 rounds, and now he's gonna probably meet Raonic in the 3rd round. And I think that the Raonic will take out Berrettini. Raonic has played great he reached the final of Cincinnati when Novak defeated him. He has been in the final and a semi-final here at Paris before, so this is a tournament that he really likes to play. So I think that he will reach the quarterfinal against Tsitsipas in the tournament. So guys, let's dig into the quarterfinals. I have upsets alerts here already, guys. First quarterfinal, Nadal, PCB. Second one, Zverev, Rublev. Third one, I think it's between Diego Swatchman and Kevin Anderson, because I think that Kevin Anderson will take out Medvedev. I'm not 100% sure. This is a long shot. And in the 4th quarterfinal, I think it's between Stefanos Sisyphus and Milos Raonic. And if you go into the head-to-head between these guys, maybe that doesn't count when you hear it. Motivation always beat class. You all know that the best player who is in the best shape for today, the player that takes care of his advantages, who keeps his head cold and high, that is the guy who's gonna win. But Nadal against PCB, it's one-sided affair here. 6-love, 6-0. 6 victories, 6 straight victories for Rafael Nadal. I think he will win this match also and reach the semi-final. And then we have the most unpredictable quarterfinal. It's between Sashasvarev and Andrei Rublev. They've met 4 times. Rublev have lost all of them. Sasha has won all of those 4 meetings in a convincing way. Some of the match has been really tight, but Alexander Zverev has always been the better player in those victories, without a doubt. I've seen a couple of those matches and highlights. So who will win between Zverev and Rublev? Rublev 4 titles, maybe 5 titles after the Vienna victory today. You never know. Easy really here to bother in Masters and Grand Slams. Zverev who already have 3 Masters to his name. Who has done a great season by all means. I think Zverev will win this match again. It will be a tight battle, but I think that Zverev will win. But I will not be surprised if Rublev takes him out. So Nadal against Zverev in one of those in the semi-final. And then on to Swatchman against Anderson. That's a tricky match. They have met 3 times. Anderson have won 2 of them. Swatchman won. I think that Anderson, if he reaches this deep in this tournament, I think he will be very tough, because that means that he serves well. He can't reach a quarter or semi-final stages if he doesn't serve well. Serve is the only thing that he relies on. He has a great forehand, an okay backhand, a great volley game, and he has some shot-making skills also. You don't expect that from this tall South African guy, but I think that he's very underrated. If he comes back in old shape, I think that he will beat Swatchman. I will go for an Anderson victory in this match. I'm going to be bold in my prediction this year. I'm not just going to go on the top names that I believe that are top ranks, because in every tournament that you predict, you always get a couple of wrongs. It's not the whole world. It's not like I'm losing any money here, but I will go for Kevin Anderson in one of those semifinals. And who will we meet? It's between Raonic and Tsitsipas in one of the quarters. They have actually met twice, and that was in this year. They met at Australian Open earlier this year, where Raonic took him out. And they met another time this year also. Where was it? I forgot. But Raonic won that match also. So 2-0 against Stefanos Sisyphus. I don't know. I think that Sisyphus will take his revenge this time and beat Raonic, because it would gonna be a tough, tight match like the other meetings between them have been. And I think that Tsitsipas will win due to his higher level nowadays. Raonic still has his huge serve and his great forehand, but otherwise, if Tsitsipas can move him around the court, he will have a decent, superb chance to beat him. And I think that Tsitsipas will beat him and meet Anderson in the semifinal, and Nadal will take on Alexander Sashasvarev, a guy that he has met 6 times. He won the 5 first meetings, I think. Last year in the ATP finals in London, when Sasha won, he won his first match. No, it was not. He won. Tsitsipas won the ATP finals. It was the first time he beat Nadal, and he's down 5-1 against Rafael Nadal. I don't know. This matchup is really pretty interesting, because this fast surfaces is benefiting a huge server like Zverev. If he can keep up his serve, if he can hit his forehand clean, if he doesn't lose his mind or go for vacation or disappear from the match, he has really a great chance, because he has beaten both Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic at the ATP finals. Novak in the final and Nadal at the group stages. So he has really raised his game this year. So if he can focus 100%, he can beat Nadal. And I actually think that he can beat Nadal. And I will go for Alexander Sashasvarev victory here in 3 sets. But I can be dead wrong, like my prediction in French Open. But this is not French Open, guys. This is hardcore indoors. And I think that I believe in Sasha in this year. But if Rafael Nadal goes on and win this tournament, I would definitely not be surprised. I don't think any tennis watching player out there, or fan, or people that doesn't know much about tennis, that knows that it is not a surprise if Rafael Nadal wins. And I'm not saying that Zverev is a better player. Absolutely not. Far away from a better player. Because Rafael Nadal has the highest low level of all. He's the guy that never disappears from the match and never gives away 3 points. So if Zverev is going to win this match, he really has to play 100% top level tennis that he has done lately. So I think that Zverev will go on to the final, and he will meet Tsitsipas, who will beat Anderson. They have met 4 times, they have won 3 of those matches. And he will go on and meet Zverev in the final. One of these 2 players is going to win their first ATP Masters at Paris. Tsitsipas have never won a Masters, I think. But they have won the ATP finals exactly like Sashasvarev. And they have met 6 times before. Zverev won the first meeting. And after that, Tsitsipas have 5 straight victories, guys. 5 straight victories against Sashasvarev. When you look at the head-to-head against each other, if you look at the draw, it's very mixed up. Some players have winning numbers against another, but fail to another one who has not the winning record against that guy. It's very mixed up here. But I think that Alexander Sashasvarev will lift the trophy. Maybe, I think this is the first time I've done a prediction without naming one of the big three as the winner. But Novak is not here, Federer is not here, Thiem is not here, Monfils is not here, but he doesn't count. Like Dimitrov also, and Fognini, and Shapo, those are the top 20 ranked players who are not playing it. But I think that it's time for Rafa to really join the big club with the big boys and be a part of the big five, because now we have big four. First was big three, now we have big four with Thiem, because I have won a Grand Slam, of course. Now it's Sasha's time. He won't be a big five if he win this tournament. He has to still win a Grand Slam. Then I will count him in. He will be there, and I have high hopes. But with Sasha, you never know where his head is. He had some difficult problems this last week on his private life. If that affects him, I don't know. So this, my pick for the win is very, 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 very not far-fetched, not maybe bold. Not without arguments. I have put out my arguments here why I think Sasha can win. He has been in rock solid, served great in this tournament. He has started to be better on his returns. He creates more winner from his forehand and backhand. He has a great volley skills. He has great shot tolerance, and when he steps into the court, he's not far behind the baseline like he has done before. He steps into the court. He takes control of the mid-court. He takes control of the baseline. He really uses all his strength and power to his advantage. And he, for sure, has shown me, at least me, maybe some of you other guys out there, people still don't believe him, that he has still a little bit more to give. I have seen enough lately to actually think that he will win a Grand Slam. But when? That is written in the stars. He's the only one that can. Alexander is the only player that can. That he has the racket in his hand. He will have to let his racket talk. And I've talked too much now, I think, guys. Since this is one of my favorite tournaments, I really wanted to put out everything that I had in my heart, in my mind. I really didn't want to leave anything on the side in this tournament. I was like Nadal. I went 100% into this preview. So Zverev will win. He will beat Nadal in the semi-final. He will beat Rublev in the quarterfinal. If he does that, he has shown to me. And if he beats Sisyphus in the final, he has really shown me that he is a future member of the Big Five. Because the Big Three are still here. I think they will be around 2 more years. We have Dominic Thiem. And a guy like Medvedev, who hasn't won a title this year. He hasn't actually won a title since Shanghai last year. I knew this will come. He reached deep in US Open, but they are catching up with him. His playing style, they read his playing style. He still has an unorthodox style. He's still very quick on court. He's a ball machine, but I think he's behind Zverev and Thiem now, if you count the top dogs on the ATP Tour. Alright guys, thanks for watching, take care and bye bye.